So Erin wanted me to tell a story from my youth. I said to her, what do you mean my youth? I'm very old. I've been alive for a long time. My youth is basically 5 decades up to and including yesterday. Be more specific. And I could see her rolling her eyes and thinking, this man is such a dick. How did I come from him? But she clarified, and she said, a story from when I was a youngster. So I've decided I'm going to tell you the story about me and my friend Bert and our experiments with pyromania. Me and Bert have been friends a long time. Him and his family moved over from Mauritius to Zimbabwe when he was 6 or 7, and they moved into the house next door to us, and him and I became firm friends. And when he came over, he didn't speak a word of English, and so most of his English he learned from me, and I learned some pretty bloody awesome French swear words from him. But yeah, we had a lot of fun together. We got up to a lot of mischief. But Bert had a colour TV, which was unlike the majority of people on our street. You had those old black and white ones that you turn on and you have to wait for 2 or 3 minutes for them to warm up before you get this grainy black and white picture, and you're kind of stuck watching whatever was on the single channel. If you didn't like it, well, tough luck, buddy, read a book. So on his colour TV, so he had a colour TV, and he also had a VCR, and this is a very cool thing. You could watch a movie from the comfort of your own home. You didn't have to buy a ticket, you didn't have to go to a cinema, you didn't have to pay for popcorn. You could just sit on the couch and watch a movie as many times as you want. So him and I watched this movie, I think it was like Day of the Jackal or something like that, and in one part of the movie the bad guys make a Molotov cocktail and they throw it through the window of this house, and the house just blows up. And we looked at this and we thought, that's pretty interesting, we should give that a go. Well, we had no idea how to make a Molotov cocktail, and there was no internet, so you couldn't just hop onto Google and say, how do I make a Molotov cocktail? But we knew 2 things. Molotov sounded Russian, and cocktail involved alcohol. So we found an empty bottle and we raided his dad's booze cabinet, and when we opened it, there was a bottle of vodka sitting there, and we thought, yeah, okay, makes sense now. Vodka is Russian and Molotov is Russian, so obviously we got to use a whole bunch of vodka. So we poured vodka in there, and then we topped it up, put some brandy and put some whiskey in there, and we thought, it doesn't quite look right, we need some petrol. So we went to his garage and we took the petrol cap off his dad's car, and we started siphoning some petrol out into a bucket. And then we discovered this really cool thing where if you've been siphoning petrol through a hose and you hold a flame at the end of the hose pipe and you blow down the hose pipe, flame comes flying out like a flamethrower. And so the siphoning petrol became secondary to the making a flamethrower, and we were having a lot of fun right up until my sister walked around the corner into the garage and got a face full of flame, and it scorched off her eyelashes and her eyebrows and her fringe. She had one of these fancy lady dye haircuts, scorched that off, and of course she started wailing like a banshee, and this brought Bert's mum out of the house, and she took one look and she saw the petrol cap and the hose pipe and the bucket full of petrol and my sister's singed fringe and missing eyebrows, and she knew exactly what had happened. And so she grabbed the hose pipe and she started laying into me and Bert, beating us. And my mum had heard the commotion, and so she came over and said, what the hell's going on? And Bert's mum was very efficient. She was able to beat us with really good accuracy while telling my mum what had happened. And then my mum grabbed the hosepipe and she laid into us as well. 2 beatings for one crime. And then we were sent to our rooms to wait for the dads to come home. And Bert's dad came back first. And yeah, he just went to the back fence and he yelled, Graham, get over here! Because I went over there sheepishly. And he took off his belt and he started belting me and Bert. And then my dad came home and he came straight over and he took the belt of Bert's dad and he started thrashing us as well. 4 beatings. 4 beatings for one crime. That seems a little bit unfair. Unjust. There's no justice. 4 beatings for one crime. And hair grows back anyway. Yeah, anyway. So a couple of days later, we went and siphoned some more petrol from his dad's car. And we put it into the bottle of booze that we had been filling up. And we were all excited. Now we've got a Molotov cocktail. Where can we try it? And just near our houses was this big grass flay. It's like an open field. It's about 1 kilometer long by about half a kilometer wide. And it was really overgrown. It had been an old sports stadium that had no longer used, and so it was all overgrown with grass. Was sitting about chest high to us, and so we figured we'd go into the old sports stadium where no one could see us, and we'd try this Molotov cocktail. So off we went, and we were all excited because this is going to be something super fun to do. And grabbed the bottle and threw it on the ground, and nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. It didn't blow up. The movie had lied to us. It didn't blow up at all. And then one of us lit a match and threw it onto the mess. And Holy Mother of God, there was this whoosh and this massive flame shot up. And this was early winter, so it was really dry, and all the grass just caught fire so quickly. And Bert and I, we just legged it. We just ran like hell. We ran from the flay across the road, and we jumped over the fence into the nearest house, and we hid behind a hedge. And man, this fire just took off. And the problem was that the factory that our dads worked at was right next to the flay. And not only that, they had a store of hazardous chemicals, highly inflammable chemicals, and that store was right next to the fence, right next to the flay. Man, so sirens started going off inside the factory. There's about 400 or 500 people that worked in the factory, and people had to evacuate to a safe distance. And fire engines turned up and police turned up, and everyone was trying to put the flames out, because if the flames got to that hazardous store, it would be like Hiroshima. And the other problem was on the other side of the flay there was housing, so there was a big panic on to try and get all the flames out. And me and Bert were just cowering behind the hedge. Well, to be honest, it was a little bit exciting, to know we were the cause of all of this chaos. But they managed to get the flames out, get the fire out without anything exploding or houses catching fire or anything. The army turned up, in these guys in these special suits had been into the hazardous store to haul all the chemicals out. But they managed to get the fire out. And the thing is that nobody ever figured out how the fire started. Nobody ever found out that it was us that started it with this bloody Molotov cocktail. And can you imagine if they had? If we got 4 thrashings for setting alight some hair and eyebrows, can you imagine what would have happened if they'd found out it was me and Bert? Man, I tell you, it wouldn't have been pretty. There would have been blood on the dance floor. So we kind of figured at that point that Molotov cocktails probably weren't a viable career choice for us, and blowing things up, yeah, probably wasn't a great choice for the future. So yeah, that was the end of that. So moral of the story is this: Bert is a very naughty boy who got me into a lot of trouble and got me thrashed 4 times for one crime. No, actually, I do take responsibility for that. The moral of the story is this: don't mess around with fire. It's rubbish. Don't do it. Don't be like me. Love you.